cho tôi nhắn gửi cho tôi nhắn gửi bao niềm nhớ thương. The folk chant you just heard is a traditional melody of the Mekong Delta, a grateful letter to the rice fields, the rivers, and the land. It also reflects the darker days when storms, floods, and droughts invade the delta. It is a lullaby telling how people endure and overcome hardship. Hi, I'm Bao, a local living in Cần Thơ City, the center of Vietnam's Mekong Delta. Please, join me on my journey down the Mekong River, stopping at each fertile land to address a question. What can I learn from my people who harmonize their livelihoods with nature's in the face of climate change? From Cần Thơ, I headed north to Đồng Tháp, the land of 1,000 lotuses. After 2 hours across endless rice fields, I found the Tran National Park, more than 7,000 hectares of tea tree forest, home to over 200 bird species, including the protected serrat crans. I heard the cheers of farmers echoing from afar when the crans returned. For them, it was a living sign of healthy soils and a well-preserved ecosystem. Their love for the grains runs so deep that Uncle Phong, a local farmer, built his old grain rice fields, using organic fertilizer so the bird could safely feed. This model not only increased rice use but also restored the soils, welcoming thousands of grains that land from the Chamchim forest each year. On Uncle Phong's small boat, I felt a spark of hope. Maybe this is what we need to introduce more innovation that can balance the environment and livelihood near the important wildlife and natural sites. But the numbers pull me back to reality. Only 4 out of 698 villages follow this model because most of them believe it will run the risk of losing profits. Leaving Đồng Tháp and heading west, the salty breeze from the sea brushed through my hair along a rock lined with pineapple farm. My destination, U Minh Thượng National Park, 20,000 hectares of peatland forest, home to 32 mammal species and 186 kinds of birds. Here, the forest feeds the people and the people guard the forest. I met Miss Vân, a savvy businesswoman who rows white yams near the forest. The unique peat soil allows the yam roots to grow so large that they earn a new name, Mộng Linh Yam, a beautiful name which signifies the breed's size and quality, with over 500 tons exported each year. Her cooperative is a regional success story. However, nature can be so cruel. A sudden flood in 2020 wiped out the harvest of 56 households instantly. Yet, they couldn't do anything to avoid the disaster. Her story is one of resilience in the face of calamity. Amidst all these innovations, one man in his 70s chose a different path. Uncle Tư Việt returned to the roots of rice. He rose the ancient seasonal rice that endures rain, drought, and even salt water. However, it has been forgotten over time, as this particular rice takes longer than the newer breeds to grow, making it too old-fashioned for today's market. For him, it is more than just a crop. It carries the memory of the Khmer people, who for centuries have cultivated these wetlands with rituals, songs, and festivals tied to the rice farming cycle. This tradition, once the heartbeat of the Delta life, has faded as the newer breeds replaced it. Yet in Uncle Tư Việt fields, rice is still a bridge between cultures and land, childhood and old age. In his living museum, I'm surrounded by rows of traditional rice varieties, ancestral tools, and Mekong fables. Listening to him recall the old farming techniques, forgotten plants, and animals he is trying to revive, I ask myself, maybe the answer lies not just in moving forward, but also in reclaiming our roots, our origins. Bidding farewell to Uncle Tư Việt, I rowed my boat to the southern tip of Vietnam, Cà Mau. Đất Mũi National Park spans over 40,000 hectares of mangrove forest, home to more than 150 species of flora and fauna. With the land continually being built up by the river silt, this pristine beauty serves as the foundation for a new hope. Ecotourism. In the buffer zone of the national park, I met Uncle Ngãi. With 7.5 hectares assigned to him, he farms organic shrimp, crabs, and oysters, and receives visitors to tour the forest and enjoy the local specialties. But climate change caused mass death of aquatic life, and in dry years, the birds no longer return. Strict conservation regulations also prevent him from expanding or investing further to resolve the situation. In contrast, outside the protected area, the bird garden of Uncle Tư Now, with more than 30 hectares of mangroves combined with natural shrimp farming, farming suddenly became a habitat for stork, herons, and cormorants. Taking advantage of this, he opened tours to the bird garden. Yet here, the risk is a lack of protection. Because it lies outside management, bird poaching is a serious issue. The same goes for the Tự Sự bird garden. Mr. Tự Sự and his family, who, after more than 20 years of planting tea trees to attract birds back to their natural habitat, have transitioned from a traditional shrimp farm to a dynamic ecosystem with over 50,000 birds. Yet, it is still struggling due to illegal hunting and a lack of government support. The contrast is stark. Too tricks inside but too loose outside. Perhaps the answer isn't one or the other, but a more balanced program that both prioritizes wildlife protections and supports nature-friendly livelihood. On the journey, I didn't find just one answer. I found many. Organic rice for the cranes, shrimp rice on the mangroves, forests replanted so birds can return. Each solution is a story of people living with nature, overcome hardship and showing their love for the wildlife of the Mekong Delta. These stories are like the folk song of the Delta. They may begin with struggles, pass through dark chapters, and carry moments of doubt, but they also weave in joys, hope, and a vision of the future. Our generation's task is not only to listen to these songs, but to sing them louder, amplify them, and carry them further, to share them with friends around the world, to pass them on to the next generation, to bring the voice of the Delta to urban communities and the global stage, so that the silent guardian of the land can be seen, so that the world knows there is still a way to live in harmony with nature, and so we can keep the forest, the soil, and the wildlife for those who come after us.